Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new Andor spoiler review here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnenberg, and today I am breaking down the final 3 episodes of the Disney Plus Andor show as rides right into Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So my name is Max Dinnenberg. Welcome back, everyone, to Max Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notification. I do movie and TV show reviews pretty much daily. I also throw in some movie franchise rankings. I do added theater reactions multiple times a week, as well as every Tuesday, a box office breakdown show. So if you like any one of those things, you love movies and TV like myself, this is the channel for you. Subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below. What are your thoughts on season 2 of Andor? Do you like it better than season 1? Is this the best Disney Plus Star Wars show to date? Let me know. I'd love to discuss with you guys in the comment section down below. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. That's how you support this channel. So I absolutely adored last week's episode, and I'll say it straight up again. I found these last 3 episodes to be really astonishing. I would say the back half of this season was an absolute masterpiece. I felt the first 3 episodes were okay at best, in my opinion. I was kind of slightly nervous. Didn't really love the direction of the show after the first 3 episodes. Definitely thought the next 3 were much better. Really enjoyed episodes 4 through 6. But I absolutely adored these final 6 episodes of the series. And here we are now. Again, full spoiler reviews. We are into a year before the Battle of Yavin. So now we're down to a year before the events of A New Hope. And we are leading in these episodes right into Rogue One, a Star Wars story. But really, the entire first part of this arc in episode 10 is Luthen, who is about Luthen and Kleya. We get because Luthen gets found by Dedra, Dedra goes about this without any approval from anyone involved. He gets caught by Dedra and he tries to basically kill himself with the knife that he showed her. And he gets taken to a secure medical facility by Dedra. And now Kleya is trying to basically just finish the job, not make sure he's alive to even speak, to kill him, to really just kill him. Because they're kind of keeping him on a ventilator, keep him somewhat alive, which will bring him back to life, which is obviously not good because you don't want him talking to the Empire about any plans. Because at the beginning of episode 10, we get the big twist, obviously, and that his informant, Lonnie, I think is his name, who is in the ISB, tells him he tells him the Death Star plans. Basically, there's a super weapon. They're not trying to destroy Gorman. They're trying to use it to get this mineral. They bring up Jeddah. They bring up Scarif. Now, if you know Jeddah, obviously it's where a lot of the Kyber crystals are found. Jeddah is one of the main spots we are in Rogue One. They brought up Scarif. That's where the actual plans are put. And that is where Jyn and Cassian deliver through Scarif to the rebellion, the Death Star plans. And obviously we get the mention of Galen Erso, who's played by Mads Mikkelsen in Rogue One, who, created the Death Star, overseen by Krennic, he is the one who left in the faults that Luke breaks free in A New Hope. So that part I absolutely really enjoyed it. So you get that, and then Luthen kills him is a huge twist in there. And the fact that Luthen kills him, again, he is someone who, yes, is fighting for the rebellion, but very similar to Saul, even though him and Saul are very different. He definitely goes about things not the by-the-books way that, especially Bail Organa and a lot of the rebellion, as you see in episode 12. So Kleya is making this plan to we thought to break Luthen out, but really it's just to kill him. We get flashback scenes. The fact that she was hidden under there, it looked like it was during the Clone Wars because I heard Separatist droid gunshots and things like that. And so Kleya's making this plan to break in. She uses the nurse. It's a really cool thing. We get that in really the first 2 episodes or so. And she does kill Luthen. Now in episode 2, she knows that she is going to be caught. Dedra is basically now in prison for the remainder of the show. And there's an amazing interrogation scene in episode 11 with Krennic, where he interrogates her because now she is one of the few people that know about the Death Star plans. And the fact that this one guy, the ISB agent, found the plans means that other people know, outside of really Krennic, Tarkin, the Emperor, and the one leader of the ISB who is Dedra's superior. Really intense. Definitely, I think Ben Mendelsohn's best performance as Krennic in Andor. Incredible performance, very intense. She takes a lot of physical abuse in this season 2, and she's going to end up back in a secure prison, as you see in episode 12. But then Clea makes the device, and that ensures Cassian, K2, and I forget the other person's name. I'll figure that out in just a second, who go off to try to save her back on Coruscant. The person who goes with Cassian is also the guy who's with him in Rogue One. So again, very sorry. I'm trying to figure out not Wilman. I'm trying to figure out Melshi. Sorry, correction, Melshi. And so Melshi, Cassian, and K2 go after Coruscant. They think to save Luthen, but they realize that it is Clea, and the fact that Luthen's dead, and Clea says all of these plans, and he says, you need to deliver it with me. And she says, we're not liked. And obviously Cassian goes on this mission without any approval from anyone in the rebellion. And he's just seen as this rogue pilot, obviously Rogue One setting that up as well. But he says, we're going to Yavin. You deserve to see what you and Luthen have built, basically, where there's no rebellion, there's no Yavin 4 without you two. And they break her out of there with the help of K2 in a really fun action scene. And in episode 12, they, go back and we get, I think, Diego Luna's best performance as Cassian Andor in a scene where they bring back all of the rebellion people in that big rebellion meeting, which includes Bail and Mon and Radis. There's the other people. Those are all the people from Rogue One. They are really tying this into Rogue One very heavily. And Cassian says, I didn't just go back to save Luthen. We have real information here. And, all of them say it's just a conspiracy theory. What has Luthen ever done to earn your trust for this information? And Diego Luna gives such a passionate speech. Because again, as much as Mon, again, disagree with a lot of the ways Luthen handled things, and as much Bail, disparages Luthen, his crew to take Mon out of Coruscant was corrupted. His crew. And it was Luthen's idea, with the help of Cassian and Clea, to get Mon to Yavin. And that's what, he brings up. And obviously, it seems like Mon is completely on his Andor side the entire time. And you get this impassioned speech where he says, he doesn't deserve this because you don't deserve to crap on a person that you haven't sacrificed a quarter or half of what he has sacrificed for this rebellion. He says, there's no this base without his help. And Bail kind of disparages him, puts him away. Mon lets him see Clea. And basically, Mon just wants to make sure that she can believe what Cassian is saying. So she sends, her cousin to talk to him. And it obviously seems very, very much so that obviously he's telling the truth. Mon also has a scene with Saul in the episode. And after the scene, I'm not Clay. I'm trying to remember the cousin's name of Mon Mothma's cousin, who talks to, Vel, who talks to Cassian, and Vel basically brings up that, Bix is okay. He says, go, but she would really like to see you, obviously. And he says, I'll think about it. He says, once things settle down, maybe I'll go see Bix. And that's what she says, don't wait too long. Obviously, we transition from this scene to the next day, and he is going off to his Rogue One mission. He gets told by Draven that here's the agent that you need to figure out with Jeddah and the pilot. And that leads right into Cassian's opening scene in Rogue One, where he finds the rebel who's on this planet, and that leads him to finding Jyn Erso, and then they go to Jeddah after that. So really amazing tie-ins. I already watched, I'm already halfway through Rogue One. It was really easy. It got me, and I've seen Rogue One a billion times. I love Rogue One. And this final episode made me want to turn on Rogue One right away. Right away. And already watching Rogue One, this show has already enhanced an already, in my opinion, great movie. And And he sees the Jedi healer from earlier, nods his head. Clea obviously seeing the actual hope of a rebellion. Obviously, I didn't like that Bail was really such a douchebag in this episode until like the very last scene with him and Cassian. K2 was really great in these episodes, both funny, but also he kicks a lot of butt as well, which I like. And then with the final shot of the show is Bix back on that plantation that they were on in the beginning 3 episodes of this season. And clearly her and Cassian had a kid, obviously that Cassian does not know about. So the Andor lineage will live on because that is Cassian's daughter. As we know, Cassian never sees Bix again because when he goes on this mission with Rogue One, him and K2 and Jin and all the people, the Rogue One crew, all sacrifice themselves and die on Scarif, which includes Krennic dying on Scarif, delivering the Death Star plans to the rebellion. So this was such a special show, in my opinion. People are true. It is a very much HBO version of Star Wars. I think what this show proves is not that every single show in Star Wars has to deliver dark, gritty, serious Star Wars. Because again, if you watch Rogue One, yes, it has very serious things. It tonally fits in with Andor, but also has a lot of Star Wars fun action to it. And I hate the people that say Andor isn't Star Wars. It is Star Wars. The beautiful thing and why Star Wars to me is one of the greatest franchises, my favorite franchise of all time, but one of the greatest universes ever created. Yes, it was a universe made for kids, sure. But this show proves the variety and the diverse stories that you can tell within Star Wars. Yes, are there stories there we want to see lightsaber battles and ship battles, all of that? Of course we do. But there is also a time, and this is very similar, where you have, even like a show like Skeleton Crew, which I really like, that show is very different from the rest of Star Wars. It's an all kids-led crew with an Indiana Jones Goonies feel. That's very different from a lot of Star Wars. Fits into Star Wars, but is very different tonally. This as well. The beauty of Star Wars, and hopefully Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and Filoni know this moving forward. Not every story needs to be told in the George Lucas way. And I'm not knocking George Lucas because, again, George Lucas has built, as you see in this show, the foundation to tell stories in either his timeline or outside timelines in very different ways. That foundation is built. But Andor proves that not every show has to be like this, but that Star Wars can tell stories like this moving forward. So for me, this is easily the best Star Wars live action TV show. I would say these 2 seasons and then the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian are still peak Disney Plus Star Wars. I really like Skeleton Crew. I had a good enough time with Ahsoka. They did obviously swing and miss a lot with, Obi-Wan being very disappointing and Book of Boba Fett and Acolyte being huge losses for them quality-wise. But Andor has been the most consistent because, again, I really did not like Mandalorian season 3. From start to finish of a show, this to me is easily the best Star Wars television live action that we have gone. So what are your thoughts on Andor? Let me know in the comment section. Like the video. Did you also watch Rogue One right after? I'd love to hear your reaction as well. I'll see you guys very soon.